There's 104 days of summer vacation. School comes along just to end it. So the annual problem for our generation is finding a good way to spend it. Like maybe. Summer vacation was always too short as a kid, especially in Florida. You got 2 months to mess around and chill out during hurricane season. Hurricane season! What bozo thought of the perfect time to give Floridians a vacation from school was during the exact basic war zone time we're supposed to prepare for. At least there was one show that let me live vicariously through other kids and showed me what true summer vacation was like, or, would have been. And that show was Phineas and Ferb. Phineas and Ferb was just the cutest, most adorable show, starring a little Dorito head monster with a palm tree on his head and his brother who I shadow cosplayed by accident. This cartoon was just the best. It was full of the cutest songs, the cutest, most bright art style, and some of the funniest moments. This show was just the perfect thing for a kid, and I unironically listen to the soundtrack all the time to this day. But of course, it had to get a movie. It had to get a special TV movie because that's just how all Disney shows work. And guess what? It's great. The movie is a straight banger, dude. Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension is a 2011 Ray Bradbury film that you read in 10th grade, starring double the Phineas, double the Candace, double the Doofenshmirtz, and double the murder, and double the fun. The movie's main tagline is that it's presented in the second dimension, which is pretty cute. It's an interdimensional tale and it pokes fun at other kids' movies that usually go all 3D for no reason whatsoever. So it very subtly screams at you that it's presented in glorious 2D. Like, haha, that's adorable. If you don't slightly grin at that, you're basically a heartless monster. This is by far one of the best TV show movies to spawn out of that era. It's funny and sweet and weirdly dark. The entire world of Phineas and Ferb becomes this entire dystopian tale, which pretty much is a great change of pace, actually. A lot of this is just met with the most charming dialogue and great attention to detail. The film begins with this adorable little intro of the kids waking up to have a great day. They celebrate the day with Perry. We get a little adorable song that just invokes smiles. The tiny details of Phineas's shirt just getting his stripes painted on, or Ferb's clothes being blown overly high is just really nice. Like, they had no reason to add that other than just to make you smile for a second. I mean, seriously, just this little title card is so nice to watch. There's nothing crazy about that title card, but it made me happy, and I can't explain why. The boys reminisce on when they got Perry the first time when they were little. We get a nice little gag about his name. They wanted to name this boy Bartholomew, but realized how nerdy that was. We see Candace talking on the phone to Jeremy, who's eating cereal. And you know what? Jeremy's up to something dirty. He's eating healthy squares that are not actually squares. Those are cylinders. I don't trust Jeremy. I never did. Never once trusted this boy. Candace is feeling sad about how they're both growing up and life's moving really fast. We cut to Perry sneaking away to the do Agent P lair, and he talks to Mr. About he's been cutting it close to getting caught by his family about his secret agent stuff. This basically sets up the stakes for the entire film, and this is how you do a movie on this kind of scale. This movie takes a lot of the things that you associate with the show, like Agent P and his identity and sneaking around, and it perfectly just raises the stakes for this movie while still being true to the original fashion. So Phineas and Ferb are doing like their daily fun stuff and flying around, and Perry accidentally crashes into them and causes them to crash into Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. At this place, he's trying to create an interdimensional device, and unknowingly about his evilness to the boys, they help him make it. Perry flies in and realizes that the boys are there and instantly goes into cover so nothing suspicious happens. This leads for some funny interactions where Doofenbop is like, wow, is that a platypus named Perry? Oh, but it's not Perry the platypus that I always fight. The world is crazy, dog. The boys open a hole to a different dimension, and it turns out the dimension is a version of their world, but just one where Doofenshmirtz rules all evil. He's taken over pretty much, and it's turned into this really dark dystopia. Meanwhile, during all of this, you have a side plot of Candace trying to figure out where the boys are. This is really just the weakest element of the movie, though. I mean, I guess it's kind of alright, since it's about Candace realizing that she's getting old, and she doesn't even need to bust the boys with her mom anymore. She can just do it herself. But I never understand, what is she gonna do if she busts them? Is she just gonna like send them to jail? Is she gonna send her little boys, her little brothers to juvie? That's a little cold, Candace. I can't believe you would do that to them. So they all run into evil Doofenbob, and we get a cute funny song where the one we know and the evil one sing together about finding their true friend. The funniest thing though is that evil Dat Bro gives his backstory of why he's so evil, like more evil than the other Dat Bro, and it's just a 3-second blip about losing a train.
I had a toy train. Then one day I lost it. Choo-choo.
It's so funny and oddly poetic that this man is just evil to be evil, pretty much. It was just a train, and because of that, he took over the world because he was so angry. Evil Doo-Doo knows exactly what Perry is and tries to get him to reveal himself, so he kills him. When that doesn't work, evil Dingle Dongle attacks the boys with his evil version of Perry, and this leads for good Perry to defend the boys, and boom, all is revealed. They know his identity now, and it's a really good reveal. Phineas gets genuinely angry at this dude for keeping it secret.
So not only have you been leading a double life this whole time, but you sat there and let us help an evil scientist open an evil portal into an evil dimension. All this time we're like, he's a platypus, he doesn't do much. Well, apparently you do.
Like, I was actually worried, and Ferb just sits there like his parents are fighting and is trying to cope with it. Phineas gets really angry all the time during this entire movie. It kind of gives me a little, like, actual chills. So they all escape and run to this dimension's Phineas and Ferb, and then Perry goes back into cover because they don't know about him in this dimension, and then he puts the hat away. But where did he put the hat? He put the hat in his butt. Did he put the hat in his butt? He put the hat in his butt. This part gets a little creepy because you have Phineas who is coping with how he knows who Perry is, and there's just a lot of awkward silence. And then you meet this dimension's Phineas and Ferb, and they all have buzz cuts and are very pale. It's sad and dark. These boys have never had a summer vacation. The famous summer vacation they're supposed to have never occurred in this dimension. The boys see Perry, and it reminds them of the Perry that they lost in this dimension, and it's really heartwarming. And there's a funny 1-second blip on how even Ferb's napkin has Doofen's initial on it because of the dystopia. Literally the smallest detail, but this movie has a lot of that. It has a lot of the smallest 1-second details that are just so tiny throughout the entire world that literally would go unnoticed, but add so much fun to the tale. You would not be looking at that napkin. You could blink and miss that. Like, they snapped so hard on this movie for no reason on a brightly fun kids cartoon. So the boys sing a happy good song for the conformed boys, and they get them to believe in the warmth of summer. Perry then sneaks away, and this angers Phineas because he's like, didn't we just have a conversation about trust? And you're pulling this? The cycle just continues, I guess. So the boys find the resistance, which is, you know, all the other kids that you grew up with. Candace turns out to be the leader of the resistance, and you get a little callback to the evil boy's voice with the parsnips. It's a cute little callback.
Who made the topiary out of wild parsnips? I'm allergic and it's messing up my voice.
So they figure out how they can get home by rebuilding the machine, and they open it for a second, which leads for the other Candace to get inside this dimension, but the boys realize that they gotta save Perry. They can't go home yet. He got captured, so they all set out to save him. Edgy Candace gives normal Candace some deep talks about life and growing up. It's a little harsh. Actually straight up harsh.
I had to grow up pretty quick around here to make sure they didn't have to. Gee, you make growing up sound like it's a bad thing. It is what it is. I'll do whatever it takes to protect the ones I love.
They get to Perry, and you know it's a trap, and there's a big action sequence. It's fun and all, but it gets really cute when they go into the little interdimensional travel moment. They go through a bunch of other wacky and zany dimensions, and it gets funny because even the montage song that plays, it breaks, and it's like, yeah, we know it's going on too long. You know it's going on too long, so we're just gonna glitch out. The movie is really just self-aware throughout the entire thing without ever directly saying it. I never realized any of this as a kid. So eventually Evil Ding Dong gets access to the good dimension and starts to invade with his robots. Perry trusts the boys to set out to his lair and retrieve everything they've ever built. And we just get the happiest, nostalgic callback fight. We see so many incredible things that the boys have built throughout the years, like the mechanical dog, the massive treehouse mechs, the Phineas and Ferb bots. I mean, even the roller coaster, which makes no sense in practical use for fighting the robots, but it's cute to see, I guess. I mean, even the Love Handle Band shows up for the fight music. It's cute. It's so cute. Everyone knows Grammy Award-winning love handle. They're iconic. So everyone battles the robots, Phineas fights evil Pooper Scooper and throws a cushion of urine at his face. He just does it with no words, like literally a dead stare of take this. But they save the day and they're forced to get their memory erased to Perry's secret identity so, like they could stay together and be family, and the movie ends. It ends on a really somber, quiet moment of Perry going into his lair and looking at the photos of everyone on his computer. Why am I crying for a platypus, man? And that's Phineas and Ferb, the movie. This movie is great. Simply just great. My only gripe would be that it has no effect on the main show whatsoever since everything is erased at the end. But that's not the point of it. The point of it is to enjoy it no matter what, even if it's slightly forgotten, because it still happened. This is just how you do a TV show for kids. It's inspirational and heartfelt. It could have been the perfect ending to the show in general too. It's clear that they wanted that to be the case. Some of the devices in the end of the big battle aren't really shown until the later episodes in the show that came after the movie. I think if they made this a little more grand, it could have been a great finale. Then again, it also had just a great finale in general, so who am I to say? Phineas and Ferb was just way too good to us as a kid. We didn't deserve this show or this movie. I mean, sure, everything is bright and fun, but the dystopian world is pretty dark the more you think about it. And they create the world pretty immersively too, with great detail. The movie is just also really funny, especially every scene with Doof. He never gets old throughout the entire movie.
I'm Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz, but my friends call me... I just got in such a funk.
The movie just shines in just the 1 second visual gags. They'll create entire sets and scenes and moments for you for literally just a second. If you blink, you will miss so much of this stuff. I mean, need I say more about how good this is? This is what kids' content should always be like. It pushes for creativity when it's not even being asked for. It outdoes itself even though it has no need to. It just exceeds every expectation because there's passion here. I may just sound like a massive fanboy of Dorito Man and Purple Cylinder, but it makes me happy. I miss these summer vacations. I miss feeling like there was a vacation that was never ending. It's hard to grow up, but at least you can always look back on the good times.